I don't know how they survive with that, to be honest with you. Like, how people can continue to just be hanging up on this game. Like, I've lost interest in that in 20. Like,
mind you, they called it a deep dive part 2. Where was the first fucking deep dive?
I don't know. I mean,
what's the X Factor one? They I think they switched up their titles like after the fact because even and as far as it being a deep dive, for me, it seemed like it was a deep dive in the kiddie pool.
I don't know what it is. Well, we'll get to that show. Let's do the intros and we'll keep on ad-libbing after that. This is First and Framerates, episode 68. Would have started off a little bit early, a couple minutes late, but life. I mean, nothing special going on, but we're here. It's the same trio back again. Myself, DJ81, Bill's Fourth. We're going to talk about sports and sports gaming. And we have a handful of topics. We're going to get into the first party sports titles because that's been on the poll for like 3 weeks now. It's been going on for a while. We haven't touched on it, but we'll actually talk about the Warriors and KD. We're going to talk about the Lakers, what's going on over there. We're going to talk about this shallow dive of the Madden 20 gameplay. I mean,
kiddie pool dive.
Kiddie
pool dive. The kiddie pool.
Yeah, because I didn't get anything out of that. And this thing that you may see on the
I almost fell asleep.
I mean, this thing in the last part of the title, this thing about St. Thomas. You may not know anything about it now, but we're going to discuss it. It's actually pretty interesting, and I wonder if other schools and conferences may go through this as far as competition and athletes getting better. But I think that's going to be an interesting topic that we could touch on at the end. But anyway. Episode 68, we chugging right along. Bills, man, how's everything going for you?
Just working, man. About to finish the production on Limbo, so I'm excited about that. And just chugging along.
Yeah, same here. Working. I've been off the last couple of days, so I've been doing a lot of daddy stuff with my son and cleaning up here in this game room because me and him been destroying this place, playing around, but. Other than that, everything's cool. DJ, man, what about you? How's your week?
I've been suffering for most of the week. Sunday, I suffered. I don't think they're even bruised ribs. I think I suffered a cracked rib.
Ouch.
In a game I played in Sunday. So I don't know if I'll be able to go for the playoffs next week. We don't have a game this week, obviously, because it's Memorial Day weekend. But the week after, we start playoffs. And I don't
pulling the KD.
Oh boy,
KD had a strained Achilles.
Well, he's hurt too. That's what I'm saying.
It's not the same, though. It's not the same.
He's not playing in the playoffs.
It's not the same.
He's not playing in the playoffs.
The same. He played in the playoffs until he got hurt.
Oh, so you're just saying that you're not going to make the playoffs at all?
And for that, your Falcons will not be playing in the playoffs this coming season.
I don't think the Redskins will make 8 wins, let alone the playoffs.
We have more Super Bowl titles than you guys.
Oh my God!
In that right there.
That is absolutely true.
And there were playoff games that we ended your season
and you can hold
in
on
embarrassing
to all
fashion.
That. You can hold on to all of that as your team just falters away throughout the season. Like you can hold on to the past,
and then you can hold on to the 28-3, and then you're
but see, here's the thing, DJ. I think VF has a bit of an advantage because at least his team made it to a game. Because at least are you gonna let me finish? Or are you gonna keep being a baby?
I'm just saying how.
This is my thing. It's like the Redskins, the Cowboys. They always hold on to the past and don't even think about the future.
At least the Falcons made it to a game to lose a 28-3 lead.
So is that the Falcons' consolation prize?
That is not our consolation.
We made it to a game to lose.
We don't hang on it. We embrace it. We keep moving forward.
Yeah, you hang on to L. I understand. I understand that. Right in the middle,
VF.
Right at the end of 18 is the L.
VF. This is the thing. We hang on. We understand what happened to move forward. He has nothing to talk about this season.
VF, it's cool. It's cool because the consolation prize for the Redskins is to make sure that their quarterback doesn't get injured before the end of the season. That's been hard for them to even do that. So he can't really talk shit.
But he can always hold on them 3 Super Bowls. Give a damn about this season. Let's just talk about the 3 Super Bowls.
Well, who gives a fuck about when Reagan was in office? I mean,
exactly.
Actually, Bush was in office when it happened.
Here we go. Yeah, okay. And the
we
other
want
one
to be exact and factual. Bush was in office when it happened.
So, I mean,
Bush
still doesn't change the fact that we have 3 Super Bowl victories and
there you go.
Falcons
he hangs on to
have how many Super Bowl L's?
He lives in the past. He lives in the past. I mean, hey, look, I have no defense for that. I mean, you do have 3, but I mean, let's talk about what's happening this year. You got 2 running backs that came off ACL injuries, and y'all talking about rushing for having a balanced offense when you have both guys with one leg. And, I mean, you got a rookie quarterback that could be great, but right now he's a rookie quarterback. I mean,
it's busy arguing over a fucking jersey.
If you're going to talk about what type of offense they're going to run, be factual.
What happened?
Be factual and say that they're going to be pass heavy, like they've been in the last 15 years.
What happened to Reuben Foster? He's still on an injury card, right? But no, y'all have those 3 Super Bowls.
See, you know what's funny? I don't wish injury upon anybody's team or whatnot. All I talk about is the direct result of a team. You're talking about, look at Reuben Foster. All of a sudden now he's on the injury. He's on the injury list first thing out the gate.
How can I wish injury on somebody that's already hurt?
Right.
How can I wish?
Yeah, but you're using the injury to one up me right now. So I'm
just saying we're talking about the present of the team.
I mean, there's a plethora of injuries he could use to one up your team if he really wanted to get that.
I mean, let's talk about the present. I mean, you want to talk about the past? I have no defense for the past. You got the point on that. Now, since you got your point on that, let's talk about the present. What's going on? Crickets. Anyway.
Are you mad because we kind of fried you before you got on before you dropped us the link?
I'm not mad. I'm not. Listen, you can't slight me on that. That's a different issue.
Well, at least we made it on time.
Right, exactly.
Barely.
We went so left. We didn't even start the podcast. Well, this is starting the podcast on a good note.
Fuck it, they enjoying it. Who cares?
Right, exactly. Everybody who's in.
Yeah, all 6 people. What's up, everybody?
Yeah, we appreciate everybody who's here. I mean, this is what we do all the time, back and forth. It's all good. We're not going to talk about the Warriors right now because obviously that's going to be a pretty good topic. Let's talk about what just happened. Madden 20 gameplay stream just went off, and there was no gameplay. I didn't see any footage. I just saw a bunch of computerized. I saw a bunch of Luke Kuechly.
Yeah, that's their ant footage. That's the technology, the animation technology. And to tell you the truth, that's the proper animation that they use to demo stuff. But what we're used to is actual in-game footage of this happening and not ant footage. So I agree with you. This was bullshit.
They hyped this up ever since the very first deep dive. What was the first one they did?
The fucking quarterback one or whatever.
Yeah, the QB one. Ever since the QB one and the college football atmosphere thing was gonna come in, they said May 23rd was gonna be the day where you got all this stuff going on with Madden 20. You're gonna find out what's going. And all I heard was a bunch of playbook stuff, some Philly special stuff, RPO. To me, it could have been the way it looked like. It looked like it was just a playbook deep dive.
Hold on, so what y'all saying is we've seen more gameplay from Cal Anderson.
Ooh, low key, you might be right.
As bad as the gameplay was, we saw more gameplay from Cal Anderson.
Man, it's gonna be hard to laugh during this segment just because of what I said earlier. So
well, I mean, if we had Pooh in here, you wouldn't have any reason to laugh. But you're not lucky enough to have Pooh. I'm sorry, not really. But yeah.
52 said we have great chemistry. He loves it. I love that. That's great.
Yeah, man, he's been another loyal listener. He's not quite Chris Thomas, but he's right below Chris Thomas as far as
I know. So also, I wasn't listening to what they said, but he said there wasn't going to be no gameplay. They said we have to wait till E3, but the title
EA play. Who the hell wants to wait till EA play?
But I got a question though. But the title of the deep dive is what?
Gameplay. That's what it said.
All right.
It didn't say playbook deep dive.
See, that's what I took from
it. It didn't say wait till EA played deep dive.
It didn't say last Twitch stream review. It said gameplay deep dive.
I'm gonna be quiet. I'm really feeling better and better about EA Origin access on PC because I can pay my fee. See, I done killed my subscription to it. I haven't used it, so I killed my subscription. But when Madden 20 comes out, I can easily just pay $15, try it out for a month, and if I don't like it, only lose $15. As of right now,
I wouldn't even go that far now.
Yeah, I mean, as of what I see so far, I don't have a problem with paying the $15. But I mean, if it gets worse and worse, like EA Play and E3, if it's nothing impressed me, I may just not even buy the EA Origin access, even though there's other things.
Is like it's not like the shit that they're talking about is bad. It's just like who gives a fuck about the shit they talked about when the title of your stream was gameplay deep dive.
Right.
Like we came looking for at the very least maybe a trailer, even if it's not like, you know, a crazy fleshed out like detailed blog that they're going over. At least give us like a gameplay trailer so we can see what it looks like.
And at least give us some plays and how one play works against the other.
Right.
Play, something like that, you know.
Or give us examples of the, you know, like they were talking about the trajectories. Well, give us an example of that.
Yeah, I mean, that's gameplay. Like when you want to see a player run between the tackles, or you want to see a certain catch animation we haven't seen before or haven't seen in a while, or see how players tackle, or, you know, like you said, ball trajectory.
Don't bring up signature running animations and don't show that, because that's just the most simple thing. Just go to the practice mode and show them running straight. It's not that hard.
Right. You know, I mean, they could have done that. Matter of fact, they showed more gameplay with that Aaron Rodgers footage from last week than they did.
The Mahomes and the Drew Brees.
Much.
Yeah, they showed more gameplay from that. And at least it was, I mean, it's not going to be the final player model, but I mean, it was a better indication of what the gameplay was going to look like than what they gave tonight.
Right. And it's very disappointing in my book, because you think like every year. Now, there were certain years when Madden was coming out and they showed much more than this. But now with Madden 20, it seemed like they're showing less. That's why my expectations, which wasn't really high now, it's justified to have these low expectations now because of the fact that we're not seeing as much. Like I remember when Madden 17 came out, that air superiority thing was like forefront, and they showed us what it was about. You know, I remember when Madden 25, when True Step came out, they showed us a forefront. I mean, as a matter of fact, they showed us a little bit around this time, or maybe at the beginning of June. They showed, well, this is almost the beginning of June. They showed us gameplay of the actual, and the only thing that was different was they had a little thing on the side that said work in progress. But I can deal with that outside of this.
Yeah.
You know? It's just really disheartening. I don't understand.
What do you think, DJ?
I just think when they change up the titles after the fact, that's when, because it was just like when we got to the Superstar X Factors, the first Gridiron Note or whatever, it wasn't, I'm like, yeah, it was talking about gameplay, but was it marketed as, oh, this is a gameplay stream?
Right.
Not really.
Nope.
What up,
and the title of it, oh, go ahead.
No,
not used.
Quayface, what's up?
Okay, yeah, and I don't remember the actual title of that live stream when it happened, but then all of a sudden, like when I saw the what is it? When I saw the link, there was like a gameplay deep dive part 2. I was like, wait a minute, when was part 1?
Right.
And I had to go back. I was like, oh, they got us. That first one, they now they can go back and be like, yeah, well, we did leave a gameplay. If anybody was talking about how, because when you look at the original schedule, everyone, the way I was looking at it was that gameplay was the third thing that there, because you were talking about the main feature of the game. Then they talked about like the story mode, and then they talked about Ultimate Team, and then gameplay. I'm like, wow. I'm really not looking forward to the
but
schedule.
that's another thing, DJ. I mean, even with that being said, you knew what the direction of not only the Madden business practices are, you know what's priority as far as the game goes for the consumers. You know they would the business practices side of it, they want to push that side because they know that's the moneymaker. We talked about this extensively on another episode. I can't remember the number, but these guys make billions of dollars off of those gameplay modes. So we know what it is. My thing is, I've said this for a long time. I think now would be the time, or it should have been the time, where these games are so technologically advanced. Goodness, I can't talk. They're so advanced to where you can do both. I can't see why there are other games out there, not even sports titles. I'm just talking about just games in general that has so many different aspects of gameplay, where this game alone is the only one that's like constricted to not having one outside of the other. Even when they had the 3 modes, you still saw certain things leak into other ones. I don't know what's going on there, if the game is too hard coded for that or whatever the case may be. But at the end of the day, I think Madden 20 is probably going to be a $20 purchase. If you get it early, got a little extra money, you want to buy it for $60, that's fine. But I got to see more to say, like, okay, I can pay a little more than that.
It's a shame because the stuff they've shown has looked good, but they just haven't shown enough. I don't know what they're hiding.
I don't think the game looks bad. Now, I think from what I've seen earlier, it seems like it's going to be a okay playing game of football. You know, outside of the online glitches that people like to exploit when the game first comes out. I mean, you can clearly see people playing online when they see players doing wonky stuff. I mean, your server, the person who you playing against server, EA servers is all intertwined with that gameplay. Players gonna be doing flips at times because the servers are jacked up. That's not an indictment on the actual gameplay that's on the disc. You know what I'm saying? Like if you play, you know, without the servers intact, then you'll see what's really under the hood. But like I said, I don't understand like how they can't get it the way it is. And I know like what DJ Detroit is saying, no competition. I think that plays a role in it because they have no other game to compete against. But technology is too advanced to say, even if you don't even try, you should be able to get it to work. I mean, that's the way I look at it.
We better be getting like a crazy volume of those fucking, you know, AI versus AI and human versus AI gameplay videos. That's all I'm saying. That's
the thing about it. They don't even let's be honest. When the last time you ever heard Madden, even with Madden or NBA Live, hell, you can even talk about FIFA, and FIFA's a great game. NHL, another great game. When have you ever seen them even talk about AI mechanics in these games? It's more like
NHL.
I know. Yeah, I'm saying NHL does it. They do it very well, as a matter of fact.
Yeah.
But for the most part, like they don't put an emphasis on it to where, like, okay, if you play this game, you're going to be challenged like this. It's more like they want you to do things on your own. They want user control. It's all about user control. And I understand about user control because you want the animations to mimic what you're trying to do. But if you're playing, even if you're playing against someone, that other person's not controlling the other, 10 defensive guys on the field. What are they doing? You know what I'm saying? In hockey, they're not controlling every person. FIFA, they're not controlling. NBA Live, they're not controlling every person. But they don't put an emphasis on AI, AI intelligence. They don't put an emphasis. They don't even talk about it.
Like, I was hoping, since they were talking about the playbooks, I was hoping that they would bring up the fact that maybe the computer would open up their playbook a bit more.
Right. That's
actually use these RPO plays and know how to use them and situation. I mean, all this shit is shit that they could have talked about, but it seems like every year this shit comes and goes, and we end up having to ask these questions in October and November, and then we get our answers. It's like,
but see, that's the thing. The RPO stuff. If you look at it, if you looked at the kiddie pool deep dive, if you saw that, it was more like they're showing you as a user on what to do with those players.
Yeah.
They're not telling you, what they expect if you're playing against someone. Like, say,
Right.
if you are playing against someone and they're the quarterback, what is that running back going to do? What is that, the H-back going to do? What is the wide receiver going to do?
Right.
Are they AI? Is their smarts, in tuned enough to do what they're supposed to do? So you don't lose a game trying to do a trick play that's just jacked up because, the mechanics are wrong, not because of the ratings are low.
Right.
Bob Money, what's going on? Chris Thomas, what's going on? Thank you guys for coming through, especially Bob Money. I haven't seen him here before. Thank you for coming through if this is your first time. But it's a lot of things because at the end of the day, this just goes back to tell you that even though they put a big emphasis on franchise mode, we're not a priority because a lot of people who play franchise mode are loners. We play by ourselves. We're not. They do have a franchise. Go ahead, DJ. Go ahead.
Yeah, I wanted to jump in because one interesting thing I saw in the title itself was it did in the display design. It was H2H, which means head to head.
Right.
I saw that and I was like, oh, this is not going to be what everyone thinks is going to be. So,
my expectations went down as soon as I saw that before.
But this is what I'm saying. I told y'all, like, back in Madden 18, I said Madden 21, you're probably going to have a situation where franchise mode itself is going to be very far on the back burner or damn near dead, or they're going to monetize it. Because there's no money in franchise mode, even with all this that they're doing now, with the narratives and the storylines they're trying to do. It's just more added stuff outside of stuff that should have been there in franchise mode from at least Madden 12. So
there's two people. I don't mean to cut you off again, but there's two people I want to blame for that whole monetization of the possibility of franchise, and one of them has me blocked, and the other one is in this sim football community. So I know who won. Stack, when you went on that rant about having
Stack blocked you?
No, he didn't block me. Okay, no, I said one was blocked. The other one was PX Sports. Yeah, that guy. Yeah, when he blocked me because
advocate for monetizing.
Yeah, he was the biggest advocate. Right. And when Stack jumped on board, I was kind of surprised, but now I was just like, you know what? No, they, as soon as them two start opening up the floodgates a little bit and putting it out there that hey, maybe folks should be willing to accept monetization of the franchise mode to get what we want. That's why I knew the suits. Thank you. That's what we wanted to hear. And
all they needed was a few people to spread it. That's it. Well, I mean, my thing is like I saw it happening because of what's been going on in the industry as a whole. And EA is like the big culprit of trying to monetize this stuff. I mean, like Bob Money says, Madden is now money business. Their favorite son is Ultimate Team. Yeah, I mean, I saw it coming, but Ultimate Team may not be enough for Madden. And I saw this like in Madden 18. I was like, we're not getting enough modes. I mean, enough content in franchise. The only way we'll get that is to monetize it. And I didn't say it because I wanted it that way. I was looking at it as a visionary. I can see it down the road where this is some bullshit that can happen and nobody needs to be on board with it. And there you go. You have the two people that you're talking about. And like Chris Thomas said, you can see it if you read between the lines. Absolutely.
Mm-hmm.
I mean,
especially if they're constantly advertising. You're in franchise mode and they're advertising for Ultimate Team. It kind of puts that seed in your mind, like, don't worry, we're gonna put more of this.
I can see it now where they try to do free agency in franchise like real life, and you have to use real money or real coins to get certain players on franchise mode. I would not be surprised with that.
I'm going to answer Pooh's question. He says, what did I miss? The start of the show. That's what you missed.
Chris Thomas, especially if you look at the stream today. Yeah, I mean, that's what I'm saying. If you looked at the stream, you see exactly what's going on. They're trying to get the user base to be user-friendly with the game. They don't care about players using football AI or I'm not saying
for the AI using football.
Like, the football using AI, or the user using AI. I mean, using football knowledge to be good at this game. They're actually telling you, like, look, this game has this, and this. Get on the sticks, and you can do it too. I mean, all right, I want to do the Philly special, so I'm going to do the Philly special every third play, and I'm going to feel like a badass because I saw it on TV. Compared to, like, I need to use the Philly special when the defense is caught off guard because we've been running circles around them all up and down the field. Maybe this play we can use this to get a touchdown. No, they want to use it 5 times and say, like, oh, I'm Carson Wentz for a day. I mean, it's bullshit.
And the funniest thing is what they're gonna say is, wow, there is a counter to it, and of course, that counter will never be used by the fucking computer.
It won't be. And even if you use it, one or two things are going to happen. Is the counter's going to be OP, and the Philly special will never be able to be used, or the Philly special is going to be overpowered and no defense can stop it. Take your pick, because Madden has not done a good job of balancing. I can't talk today. I'm sorry.
Balancing.
Balancing. Did it again. They haven't done a good job of doing that. They really haven't. It's like certain plays that they want out there for people to feel like a badass on the field. They're gonna let that stuff be OP. We saw it in Madden 16 where everybody's doing the Odell Beckham catch. I mean, it's that type of stuff that's actually out there. The halfback pass was balanced. I never used the halfback pass. You know why? Because the defense is OP against the halfback pass. It was one point where the halfback pass never worked at all.
Yeah.
It never worked. I don't think the halfback pass never worked even back in the Madden PS2 days unless you truly caught the defense off guard. Because I remember running it with LaDainian Tomlinson in Madden 08. Oh, hell, even Madden 11 on PS2 or even on the original Xbox when I was playing Madden 08, it worked then, but you had to catch him off guard. But most of the time, you're losing 7 yards.
Like, we couldn't even get details about even the shit that they talked about. They were very vague about it. Like, we didn't hear whether we could check out of the animations with these handoffs. We didn't hear a lot of shit. But, of course, I was looking at the Twitch chat because, I like getting a feel for exactly who's in the chat. And, God, if you saw the number of people, oh, my God, this is so great.
Yeah,
really?
I saw that too. But look, those guys are the people who are the ones that want to feel like the badass. NA asks, would you buy Madden? Would you buy if Madden online was completely free, but franchise online long shot were priced individually? Could maybe even get Madden franchise and play franchise online for $20.
No.
Why would I pay for something that should be free?
I think I just put it like this. I think Madden Mutt and Long Shot should be a separate game.
Especially Long Shot should be gone.
I think
it is.
Should be gone, but I think Mutt should be.
No, it's back. Game. Long Shot's back, I think.
No, it got replaced with.
No, they're replacing it with QB face of the franchise. Yeah. That's Long Shot as a story over with.
Yeah, the story's gone, but it's basically Long Shot without the story mode. But I think Mutt should be just a totally different game in itself, and Madden football should focus on Madden football. I mean, if they did that, it would be actually interesting to see how the gameplay would be if it was just a separate entity in that way. But I wouldn't buy a game in pieces. No, they should just separate them. Anything else we got on this? I mean,
on a side note, I'm hearing that NBA Live won't be playable at EA Play.
Oh, Lord. Here we go.
So,
whoa. Considering it won't be playable for anybody in September because the game's going to get canceled, like I said.
Yeah, I mean, listen. If anybody who's been around since Live 10, you know how this goes. They don't show gameplay. The gameplay is shown. It's really bad. It's canceled. They did it with Live 13. They did it with Elite 11. They did it with Live 17. So the last 3 times we went down this road, we know what happened. They barely got away with it with what was it, Live 15? Because they delayed that a month.
Yeah,
and that turned out to be a decent game, but I'm surprised they didn't cancel that. Live 16 should have been canceled. I don't even know why they put that shit out, but here we go with Live 20. No gameplay at E3. I mean, EA Play. We'll probably see some bullshit at E3, and then people be like, "What the fuck?" And then like a week before it's supposed to be released. Sorry, guys.
Now they're gonna do what they did with Live 14. They're gonna have us in the dark for the longest time, right? And then they're gonna put out that shitty ass trailer like the day before it's supposed to come out.
Patrick Swayze was
no, that was wasn't that 15? I don't know.
No,
that was 14.
That was 14 when Patrick Swayze was playing the Steve Nash.
Man.
I don't know, man.
It's sad.
I mean, it is. I mean, you think, like I said, I kind of figured that Madden 20 was going to be somewhat of a wash because this game is going to be online with the same parity as Madden 19, maybe a little bit more enhanced. I think they're going to start looking towards PlayStation 5 with Madden 21, and I swear this game better not be running on the same engine as this past engine for Madden 21 and PlayStation 5. I'm telling you, if that happens, you probably would just forget it. Just forget it, because we dealt with this since Madden 06 on the 360, and you see what we got now.
I doubt they're changing their engine. I highly doubt it.
As Smitty would put it, this game was supposed to, at least on this stream, was supposed to come with the smack. Is that what he referred to?
I didn't watch it. I don't know.
There wasn't no attempt to even swing to even go for smack.
I didn't watch the stream, so I have no idea. I mean, no disrespect to Smitty, but he'd be like streaming in the middle of the day. Sometimes I look up and like, and then never mind.
Nah. What he
Smitty,
meant
we
was,
love you, but half the time you'd be looking crazy on that stream.
What Smitty meant was it was going to be a kick in the balls for everybody who expected gameplay. So that's what he actually.
Mortal Kombat 11 kicking the balls.
I'm talking Johnny Cage split in the straight uppercut. That's what.
I'm telling you, man. Mortal Kombat 11 is nice, man.
I'm thoroughly impressed with that game.
Yeah, I love that game. Absolutely.
Only way they changed engine is so they can give themselves another excuse for 3. I didn't even think about that.
Yeah, exactly. You're right. I mean,
and speaking of which, just to add to what is possibly coming to Frostbite, because they demoed the hair for the next gen, and apparently the hair is going to be. I'm sitting there like,
hair who?
Bro,
hair.
I thought about it and I was like,
graphics and presentation.
Hair of what, football players?
On characters.
No, like
hair on characters.
EA,
but if you
EA
played on PC, you kind of already had this going. So
right. Oh, I thought you were talking about like the football player models. I'm like, dog, they're wearing.
This is on the Frostbite engine now.
Okay, I got you.
So that's why I'm saying that them showing that off and what it could mean for maybe the sports titles.
I ain't gonna lie, that shit
only
was pretty
basketball
impressive.
would probably be affected by it.
Yeah, but
maybe football a little bit.
Let's be honest. I mean, with the Frostbite,
soccer, yeah, that's right.
The
NHL too. Yeah.
The Frostbite engine itself is not a problem. If they want to do that with their engine, that's fine, because the Frostbite engine itself has proven itself to be a damn good engine for what it does. So I don't have
a good engine. No, they did say that the Frostbite engine was a problem. It was a problem because it was built for first-person shooters. Not
that's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying. If they're using it for the Frostbite engine itself, I don't care about that, because that's the engine. But if you're trying to tell me they're trying to do this for, let's say, Madden or any other game that we're really not going to see their hair physics, I'm like, all right, whatever. I mean, Madden, everybody's on the field with helmets on. Why would I?
The only thing
I turn that into cloth physics.
Well, that's what I'm gonna say. The only thing I was thinking about was the fact that it could translate into football somehow. Just the way the hair was dynamically flowing, it could turn into cloth physics and other things like that. So that would actually be nice. Jersey physics for NBA Live, things like that. I mean, we haven't seen jersey physics like. We haven't seen true jersey physics. Like in a basketball game, we haven't seen that shit since like NBA 2K7. That was when they first had jersey.
2K6 and 2K7 when they first made the jump to 360.
Yeah, it was amazing.
It was amazing.
That was groundbreaking. Truly groundbreaking.
That's the type of stuff you would want to see from one gen to the next.
Yeah. Every game has pretty much minimized their jersey and cloth physics in general.
Yeah, because 2K7. 2K7 up until now, even NBA 2K19, it was nowhere close to how it was in 2K7. 2K7, it looked like they were actually wearing a jersey.
Yeah, for sure. And then one of those NBA Live, one of the NBA Lives actually went as far as having people's jerseys fit differently, which I've still been waiting for them to put in 2K.
Right.
Because I think they were talking about, I don't know if it was NBA Live 09 or NBA Live 08. One of those, they were talking about the jerseys fitting differently, like how they were tucked and things like that. That's back when.
I think they got that in Live 10. I'm not sure.
Yeah, I think it was Live 10.
I think it's in Live 10 because I remember, I know at least on NCAA Basketball 10, players wear their jerseys different in NCAA Basketball 10. Like some of them are tucked, some of them are tucked loose. I don't think none of them are actually out. Like some big men, their jerseys are actually tight in those.
Right. Yeah. So I mean, that's interesting. It's something that EA could possibly do. 2K has to be looking at doing it soon because, like I said, I don't know what they could do for gameplay at this point.
Yeah, 2K.
Other than passing's like the one thing.
Yeah, I think that passing is not where it should. There have been other 2K passing was slightly better. So I think they could do better with passing. But like I said, man. I think me and you both said this. We've never seen a game in this generation, and we haven't seen a game in a long time that actually stuck to what it was from day one.
Yeah.
2K19 has done a very. I mean, they had their patches here and there, but it's nothing that messed up what was on the court, unlike the previous games.
And for the folks who claim that it did, I need proof because I've been playing. I told DJ the other day, I was looking at how many hours I've played games. I've played 2K19 for like 22 days of all my playing time. So if you're trying to convince me that they changed the gameplay and broke it, I need to figure out how because I don't see it. I wouldn't have played it all that much.
Right. Yeah. We would have noticed it immediately.
Of course.
I mean, I agree, but speaking of basketball, let's talk about these Warriors and what they're doing. They swept the Portland Trailblazers. Which, in all, Trailblazers, I'm actually impressed with what they did this year. They did a pretty good job playing basketball, going through the playoffs. It's good to see them up and coming. I hope they continue their success. Well, more likely just CJ McCollum and oh goodness, I can't remember the name.
Damian Lillard.
Yeah, Lillard. And I would like to see them guys go further in the playoffs. Some guys play their butts off. But outside of that, KD's been gone from the Warriors. Look like the Warriors of the 73-9 team. Is this team better without KD? Were they better without KD before and now? Any one of y'all can go first. I'm actually curious to
You can go first, DJ.
All right. Well, point number one is actually separate from whether they play better without KD or not. Have we heard from Ayesha Curry since game 4 of the previous series?
Yes, we actually have. Yes, we have.
And what did she say?
She said something else stupid. She was talking about it was after another bad game that Steph had. But anyway, he's
that girl alone, man.
Because the Warriors have been on a 6-game win streak ever since that whole debacle with what she said way back when. They haven't lost a game since.
So after last bad game that he had, this is what she said. She was talking about not being accepted enough by the black community, not being black.
Oh yeah, I heard that. But that wasn't as hard hitting as our first stage.
It wasn't.
To tell you the truth, everyone knew. A lot of people knew that the Warriors were going to get past Portland, and it wasn't going to be like a struggle. I thought that the Blazers had a chance of winning in 6, but I turned out to be dead wrong.
But this is why I want to talk about. That's why I want to talk about KD with or without the Warriors. Ayesha,
now,
this shit that she said just went way left. I mean, my God.
Well, then let me go on to whether they play better with or without KD. At this point, I don't think it even matters. I think they can play the same way with and without him. It's almost like looking at the debate that Wizards fans have when John Wall goes down. All of a sudden, we play good for a few games, and all of a sudden it was like, you know what? Maybe we can play better without John Wall. And then all of a sudden, what happens? We crumble a little bit. We struggle, and then it's just like, yeah, we need to have John Wall back. Even to the point where people are thinking about trading him and stuff like that. it's not that way with the Warriors, I believe. First of all, no one's thinking about trading KD. He may leave on his own anyway. They were 73-9, including beating KD's team when they were down 3-1. But they had a different bench back then. Right. I say it really doesn't matter. It just seems like the people that have stepped up in the last two series, it's the next man up mentality. I'm like, they're also without Boogie Cousins. Do they play better with or without him too? I'm like, there's just too many factors. This is a well-oiled machine, and people that have come in have played well. And I see that the one player that I thought would Andre Iguodala was hurt for a little bit, and somebody stepped in and they played just fine.
My thing, I wouldn't add Boogie Cousins in because he played limited this season. I mean, yeah, it was good to have him in there, but I didn't want to throw him in there because the body work's not big enough. At least,
well, no, I didn't expect you to add him in there, but I would just look at those factors. I'm like, they've been hit with injuries to their main people, and it's just like it's next man up mentality of this team, and they're playing excellent defense.
Yeah, I do agree.
And so it's just like, I think the defense, if anything, has stepped up more without KD, because you don't. It's a natural balance. You know, KD provides defense and offense that maybe several people that normally don't play would provide in his place, and that's what's going on.
Oh, that's interesting. What about you, Bills?
I don't think for 1 second that they're better without KD. And the reason is simple. If they were better without KD, Draymond wouldn't have been sitting in the parking lot crying to KD after Game 7. They knew that they were going to be gutted the following season. They knew that they needed an ISO player to get them a bucket when Steph and Clay were off. They knew they needed a guy that could get them a bucket when Draymond wasn't getting left open for those jumpers and actually hitting them, because he hits half-two shots. He doesn't hit shots that you need in the third quarter. He hits shots that you need in the fourth quarter. Almost like his competitiveness forces him to hit those shots. But the thing is, when they needed him to hit those shots in the Cleveland series that they lost, he couldn't, because they didn't have a guy to go to. That guy was Harrison Barnes that they had in place of KD. Just think about that.
Mm-hmm.
So they won 73 games, but they won 73 games, like DJ said, with a different bench. Their team was set up differently. I'll say this. They're less predictable without KD.
I can agree with that.
Steph and Clay, the ball movement without KD is definitely better. It's more fluid. There's a lot more team basketball being played, but that's not why they brought KD there. They brought KD there because they knew they could put him on the elbow and he can get them 30. So from that perspective, I don't think that they're better without KD. I think that they're less predictable, and I think that they got away with it because they played the Blazers. But if they played Denver, they probably would have lost that series. I'll be completely honest.
Without KD, right?
Oh, for sure.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Without KD,
as far as the finals is concerned, I don't see them beating either team from the Eastern Conference without KD, even though I still think that Milwaukee is a fraud-ass team. I'm not going to lie. It's kind of proving it right now.
Honestly, I don't think that the Bucks have a chance with or without KD.
I think the Bucks have a puncher's chance with or without KD.
Milwaukee will be hype at home for one good game.
But here's the thing, though.
That's what I think. One good game, that crowd is going to be overwhelming, and they're going to get maybe like a 15, maybe 17-point win, but they're going to lose the series 4-1.
But there's a thing, VF. Couple things. Milwaukee's bench is 10 times better. It's not even close. It's really not close.
I just don't think they'll be good enough to beat them, though.
No, I feel you. I can see where you're coming from. But
Toronto's a different story now. I think Toronto will beat them.
If Kyle Lowry plays the way he's been playing, I have no doubt in my mind that they can beat Golden State. And without KD, I think that they're the favorites. But Milwaukee, I think the issue that Golden State is going to run into is, one, their bench. They're going to have to play Steph and Clay like 35 minutes. They're going to have to play Draymond about 35 minutes. They're going to have to play Iggy and Livingston about 30 minutes. That's going to be taxing throughout a 7-game series. Remember, these guys have gone to 5 straight finals. So I think that's going to start catching up to them, especially if KD's not there. And I think that Giannis is going to have his way at the basket because they have no rim protector, which is another thing.
It's just something about Giannis that I just.
But the thing is,
I think he's going to put up numbers like, okay, you put up serviceable numbers. I don't think he'll put up dominant numbers in the finals. I just don't see it.
But here's the thing: if he's not facing a rim protector, he's going to eat. He's going to just think.
You also have to understand what it took to beat a Warriors team without KD. You see what LeBron did. You see what he did to overcome that team. Giannis do not have that in him.
Yeah, but he has a better team with him. He has a Chris Middleton who isn't really fazed by any moment. He's shown that. Now, Eric Bledsoe's a fraud. He's a full-on fraud, but he can play defense and he can get under Steph's skin. Chris Middleton and Klay Thompson are going to cancel out.
You putting out a good case. I just don't see it now with the Bucks.
Well, back to the topic, because we can talk about that, whichever
team wins that series, right?
But I mean, to go back to the topic, no, I don't think they're better without KD. I think that KD is really one of the few reasons why they actually have this dynasty, why it continued. I don't think that it would have continued if KD didn't come here, because they got gutted with their bench. And Iggy had back problems. He had big-time back problems. If KD wasn't there, he would have had to start a lot more games that season. So, I mean, I just think that KD takes them over the top. And, it's crazy because they've been having these discussions for the past couple of weeks, like, is KD a necessity or is he a luxury? I'm like, he can't be a luxury. Like, KD's not a luxury. When you look at their bench, he's a necessity.
I think he turned into a necessity because at first we saw it as a luxury. And he became a necessity because of the way he came in and played with the team. When he first came to Golden State, everybody thought he was going to be piggybacking the team to get rings. He felt like he wasn't going to do this much. One thing I will give credit to KD is the fact that he went to that team and he did not change his way of playing ball. He still put up big numbers. He wasn't there for the ride. And to an extent, it was more like KD and the Warriors instead of like Steph Curry and Clay and the Warriors. So I do give KD credit for that. So where it, like you said, now it seemed like it's a necessity.
And that's the thing. Steph and Clay against the Blazers, they were closing those games out, right? They were closing those games out against the Blazers. Mm-hmm. Lillard isn't the best defender. McCollum definitely isn't the best defender.
Yeah, they're the two offensive guys.
So I can give them credit for closing out those games because they definitely put in that work. But KD's the closer. And against a better team, they're going to need KD to closer. Because like I said, before KD got there, it was Harrison Barnes. So
I'm going to give my 2 cents. I think the team itself, as a basketball team, I think they're better without KD. But if you're talking about winning basketball, they're not. I think with KD on the roster healthy, it gives them the winning pedigree to get championships. I think they have the pedigree to beat anybody. But I think the Warriors, if you're talking about the sport of basketball, the sharing, the way you run plays, getting a shot, the way they play, defense, because they have to play collectively. I think as a team, I think they're a better basketball team. But as far as you're playing in the NBA, you're trying to win games. No, I think you're going to end up in a situation like you said. You made the case for the Bucks to beat them without KD. I mean, I don't think you're wrong. I just don't see it, but it's highly possible it happens. With Kevin Durant, that's not happening at all.
It's almost like if Miami called in LeBron, like say they already had D Wade and Bosh, so they're gonna run through the East most times. and then they just call on LeBron in the finals to win. That's basically what they are. They're a team who can run through the regular season because they're that good. But in order to go over the top and win that ring and make yourselves the favorite, you need him. And that's just how I see it. It's almost like the Bulls. Look at what they did without MJ the season that he wasn't there. But there's a reason they didn't win. Because he wasn't there.
That's a good point.
They can go to the Eastern Conference Finals. They can play against the Knicks. They can play well against the Knicks. They can take the Knicks to the brink. But if MJ was there, the Knicks wouldn't have had a chance.
Yeah. So that's a very good parallel. I mean, that does make a lot of sense since you put it that way. Let's go to another team that's on the West Coast, the Lakers. A lot of stuff going on there. Magic Johnson.
A lot of tea spilled.
Yeah,
in less than 10 minutes.
Magic Johnson put it out there saying that he was being backstabbed. He didn't have the power that he thought. He had to go. It's a mess, man. We said the past couple of podcasts we're gonna touch on the Lakers. Now it's the time. What the hell is going on over there, and what they're going to do to rectify this? Me personally, I'll go first. I have no idea what they're going to do. As of right now, the basketball season hasn't ended yet. We still don't know, who's going to be moving and shaking. There's been talks about Pat Riley saying he doesn't mind coming back to the West Coast. Jeannie Buss is nowhere to be found. Rob Pelinka, he's also running and hiding as well. Like, nobody knows what's going on. Who's their coach? Fizdale?
No. Frank
Vogel.
Frank
Vogel.
Oh, I don't know why I thought Fizdale was it. Frank Vogel's God bless that guy. That he don't know what he got into. Don't get me wrong, I think he's a good coach. I think he's going to coach the team up to play pretty good basketball. But that front office, man, it's so much of a mess. I don't know what's going to happen. I'm at a loss. That's my only take. I'm truly at a loss, and it is unfortunate that Magic Johnson had to go through what he went through because I think he could have been good for the organization, even with his side endeavors that he was doing. DJ, I'm going to let you – well, DJ went first last time. Bills, what are your thoughts about what's going on over there?
I have two words. Poor LeBron.
I can agree with that.
LeBron was recruited by the man who up and just left him high and dry.
Tadal
press conference.
So Tadal said that he don't think they're going to get a big-time free agent.
Well, how can you when Rob Pelinka is the guy that's going to be negotiating? Who the fuck respects Rob Pelinka? Rob Pelinka's claim to fame is being Kobe's agent.
I was about to say that.
Unless Kobe's coming to the negotiating table and he's going to bring his rings with him, I don't see how LeBron's not enough. There has to be some type of, and it's funny because Isaiah Thomas pointed this out. He said this is the first time he can ever remember the Lakers not having a former player, a great former Laker, in charge of, front office in some form or fashion. They've had Jerry West. They've had Phil Jackson. They've now had, Magic Johnson. They don't have that guy now. They have Rob Pelinka and Jeannie Buss.
What about Kurt Rambis? I heard he's still.
I heard he's lurking.
Yeah, but his only affiliation is through his wife, who's friends with Jeannie. So that doesn't even really count. And quite frankly, he didn't have any respect around the league after his coaching stint with whatchamacallit, because he was a complete and utter cunt from what I heard. So
wow.
Well, that's what the players said. So I'm going by the players. So I think they're in big time trouble right now. They're in big time trouble. I don't see how they recruit any type of free agent unless they don't
have nobody to pull anybody over there.
Unless they're hell bent on playing with LeBron, and I mean hell bent on playing with LeBron. I'm talking about you, Kyrie. Unless they need LeBron, for example, Kyrie doesn't need LeBron. Kawhi doesn't need LeBron. They already have rings. They already are established. They're not going there.
Let me tell you something. Don't let Kawhi Leonard mess around and get to the finals and almost beat the Warriors, or get to the finals and beat the Warriors. He's not leaving Toronto. If he gets that close, he's not leaving Toronto.
I think he's leaving Toronto because his heart is set on LA, but I don't think that it's going to be the LA team that they want it to be.
Tadal just said that it's like the Lakers are turning to the old Clippers.
Yeah, but the difference is the old Clippers never had expectations except for the fact we expected them to suck. When you look at LA and we're getting such and such. They've been saying that for years. We're gonna get such and such. We're gonna get this guy. We're gonna get that guy. And they ended up with fucking Brook Lopez.
Did you hear the reports about they like somebody put up a whole bunch of money to get Kawhi like a $500 million penthouse to stay in Toronto?
He's gonna get free food, free drinks, free goddamn everything in that.
I'm telling you, if they get real close, like say like Game 7 of the finals and lose, or if they beat the Warriors in the finals, he's not leaving Toronto. I don't see it.
The people
in Toronto would not let that kid leave. They would not let him leave.
They would not have any say.
I don't see it. Championship. Well, he already got one ring already. That's true. Now, if this was his first ring, it'd be different.
I mean,
if it was his first ring, it'd be different. But he already won with the Spurs, so I can see that. But if this was his first ring, it would have been really tough for him to leave because his heart would have been in it.
You know, all I can think of is I'm looking at the situation with LA, and all I can think of is what if MJ left and went to the Knicks in '96? It would be similar because the Knicks don't have the best front office.
And not only that, Jordan wanted to play with his buddy Charles Oakley again.
He did, but it's like when you look at their front office and how different that team looked from year to year for like pretty much the rest of the 90s, I can kind of see MJ in that same situation if he would have ended up going there. So to me, if I was LeBron, I don't say I'd demand a trade. But he kind of has the right to, considering the fact that the guy that was pretty much the only reason he went there is gone.
Man, listen, if I'm LeBron, man, it's hard to stay there for the next 3 years. As of right now, it looks really rough. It looks really bad. DJ, what are your thoughts?
Well, from the looks of it, since what's the GM's name? Pelinka?
Pelinka, yeah.
Yeah, since he's was Kobe Bryant's agent and still good friends with Kobe, been hearing that, there have been talks of who wanted to buy the Lakers eventually. Magic Johnson being one of them, LeBron being the other. And it's like, and Kobe was also mentioned in this group too. And it's just like, if Kobe wanted to be in better position to buy the Lakers or have his offer accepted eventually to buy the Lakers, he would have to get rid of Magic in some form, and he would have to get rid of LeBron in some form. So I kind of look at this as some sort of underlying power move by Kobe. I know Kobe conspirators would love to hear this as a way of undermining Magic's ability to be in control of a team, because if it doesn't look like he's in power while he's the president of player operations, then how in the hell would he operate as an owner? So if you can show that he is not in control, sometimes people will leave because it's just like, you know what? I thought I was in control. I got this guy saying this. I got people talking about me. Genie's not doing anything to stop all this. I'm out. And I don't know if I'm going to be able to come back. And then LeBron's looking at Magic like, what the hell? Like, what the hell's going on? I thought this was a first-class organization. And then eventually he's going to be like, peace out.
And what that's going to turn into also is the fact that when you look at the whole situation with the front office and now LeBron knowing, why Magic left, how can you trust the organization?
Them? Yeah. How can you trust them to actually conduct deals to bring in a big free agent? That's why I think LeBron's going to be like, peace out, maybe in a couple of years, not just because he has 3 years remaining on his contract, correct?
Right. Yeah.
He's going to be peace out in about, I'll say, a year and a half to 2.
I think he'd do one more.
Well, here's the thing. And the other thing is, based on what Magic was saying, he talked about Jeannie Buss like having too many people, letting too many people have an opinion around her. And B, not having the heart to fire people when they need to be fired. Now, in my opinion, I don't think Luke Walton was that bad. I don't think he was that bad of a coach.
No.
But if Magic does, you got to let him make that decision.
I mean, you put him in a position to do that. So.
Yeah, that I was actually surprised because I thought it was Magic that didn't want to fire. But since Magic said right out the gate, because he put it out there, he was like, look, he's not doing it compared to what I have, what he should be doing versus what he's not doing. And so on and so on. So it's just like he needs to go.
The press conference we need a better coach. Magic, is Luke Walton's job safe? And he said, Luke Walton is the coach right now. I knew it's over. Yeah, he wants him gone. Of course,
it's crazy, and it really didn't have to get this bad. It really did. I mean, when they first started out with Magic coming in, they drafted Lonzo, they got Kuzma. I understood why he got rid of D'Lo. They had something there, but I don't know what happened and shit went left real quick. I mean, like you said, like I said earlier, Rob Pelinka wasn't really talking in a positive light about Magic. Everything just went like, I don't know, man. It's really dysfunctional in the front office, but I mean, they got a good group of players.
Well, I got another question for y'all real quick. Let's say LeBron doesn't get hurt last year. Do you see this turning out completely different? Because they were fourth in the West.
No.
They beat Golden State without LeBron.
No.
You don't see it being any different?
Even though Magic wanted Luke to get fired, he probably would have still felt that way even if they were winning. And even then, even if they was on one accord about the coach, Rob Pelinka was already talking behind this man's back about him not being there, even though he knew and they knew that Magic had other businesses going on. So he would have been talking behind his back regardless. Yeah, they would have probably been winning, but the front office would have still been a mess. I mean, because Rob Pelinka is just not, from what I've seen or what I've heard, Rob Pelinka is not on the up and up with people in the front office. It's not even a situation about them winning or losing games. It's just a front office issue that was going on.
Yeah.
You know, so I don't have anything else. I mean, it'll be really interesting to see what they draft. They have the number 4 overall pick. It also, it's going to be interesting to see how the team plays throughout the preseason and the beginning of the season and see how, like, the first 15 or 20 games start. That's going to really be telling of what kind of vibe that's going on and see if they can turn it around if need be.
The last thing I'll say is this. If they trade Lonzo Ball for that 7th pick to the Bulls, like I keep hearing about, and they can't trade for Anthony Davis with the number 4 and number 7 pick, they're not getting Anthony Davis.
No. Yeah, you're right about that. Let's do this because I've been kind of slack on this for a while. Let's see. Hold on. Nope, the other way. All right. Here we go. All right, I'm going to share this, and we're going to talk about this. This is our poll that we're supposed to do every week. I haven't done it in a while. A lot of stuff was really going on. So, with that being said, the other topics took precedent. They went to the forefront. But every week we try to do a poll to where we talk about what you guys want to talk about. And basically, with that being said, we pretty much discuss it, whichever wins. We had this has been going since May 7th. Like I said, it's been almost 2 weeks. We haven't touched on it yet. Pretty much the one that won was first party sports titles. Right behind Sim Olympic game and two biggest 2K My Player flaw, which that one I don't think anyone would understand that one, which that would be interesting if we ever get that one up. And one that Bills wanted to talk about, but nobody wants to vote on it, first exposure to sports. Anyway,
let's talk about that one too.
Yeah, because somebody brought it up in the chat. Now all of a sudden they're probably the only person that voted for it.
Right, exactly.
Maybe I need to start voting this goddamn poll. Make some burner accounts, KD style.
I know, right? Hey, hold up, isn't there somebody else wasn't somebody else accused of using a burner account?
Yeah. The
I
Sixers.
believe getting.
I mean, somebody who's boy.
GM,
Somebody who's
somebody.
nah,
Not Michael Colangelo.
yeah, that must be the third person. I'm talking about somebody who's planning on boycotting stuff. Yeah.
Oh God.
Yeah, that's what I just said.
Somebody
I think getting.
They got a burner account out here boycotting the game, and they can't even help themselves. The propaganda is like leaking over to the actual account.
Probably wishes he had a fucking burner credit card so it wouldn't show up on the statement when he buys it.
Good Lord. I know, right? First party sports titles. There's not much to go on here. We can go all the way back to Sega Genesis. They were the first ones that actually put out first party sports titles that I can remember that was actually really good. I mean, I'm pretty sure the other games prior to that did that, but the Genesis was the one that put out the first party sports titles, and you saw like, okay, Sega Sports is like trying to do something. Sports Talk football, Emmitt Smith football, Troy Aikman football. No, that wasn't the first party one. Primetime, Deion Sanders Primetime. We can keep going on. Game Day, NFL 2K at one point.
Game Day.
And 989 Sports put out MLB The Show. That one that was terrible though, the one by Sony, NBA Shootout 09, that shit was horrible. But NFL Fever, Lynx, the whole SSN Sports, first party sports titles, MLB The Show today. First party sports titles always end up being higher quality than them being stretched over other platforms. My whole thing about first party sports titles is I think we should have more. I think it will help with competition, and I think there will be higher quality outside of what we have. Even though you have the NHLs, the FIFAs of the world, I believe if they were able to confine themselves to one platform so they can program the game for that one platform, I think we'll just have a higher quality. DJ, what are your thoughts?
I would have to agree because I look at just first party games in general, and they are usually of higher quality and definitely have better gameplay, better graphics, because the familiarity with the console of choice that they're working on. Like I can imagine if in this generation, if Microsoft would have concentrated a little bit more on their first party titles with the more powerful console, they would have made out well with a lot of their titles and could have possibly worked on their first party. Because I remember there was a game called Inside Drive.
Yeah,
that was done through that was a first party. That was like up until NBA 2K15. That was the only sports game that had more than how many games in the season? It was an 82 game season. Obviously, that was the first NBA game that I completed. An 82 game season, made it all the way through the playoffs, got to the finals with the Wizards, led by Jordan, to only lose in Game 7 to the Lakers.
Oh man,
let me tell you something. That game wasn't sim at all. Then
that's whatever.
Wait a minute. You went out like that. That's some bullshit. I would have been pissed.
I was pissed too because the reason why that series turned was Jerry Stackhouse got hurt, so they could easily play defense on an aging Jordan versus I had another guy that could possibly shoot the lights out at that point in time. But
you know what? Inside Drive was ahead of its time. It's a very good basketball game. I mean, I don't know how well it holds up today. I mean, I still have the game.
It doesn't.
I don't know how well it holds up, but back then, back in 2003, 2004, the times I played it, I thoroughly enjoyed that game. I think one thing about the game that I did like is the player models and their proportion. Like guards were small and centers were like they were tall.
Shaq was a beast because of like his just size in the paint.
Right, and it's not like it wasn't like over proportion where it looked terrible on the court. It looked good. I mean, the player models were great. You know, I think that's one thing I do like about that game back then. But it's just, my thing with first party titles, I think with MLB The Show, I always had a great time with that game. Mostly the PS3 version. The newer versions are great. Don't get me wrong, but y'all know my issue with the games, and we're not going to go there today. My God, we're not going there. But the PS3 versions of the game didn't have that problem, and I was able to get through a 162 with the Braves. But it just goes to show you that these type of games make you want to come back and continue to play because the quality is there. There's not many bug fixes that's needed. I think with MLB The Show, even to this day, outside of the one issue we don't want to talk about, the online aspect of it is just terrible. But as far as the game of baseball, it's a beautiful game of baseball. And I don't think there's no other game that will ever top it. And there's still, I know I saw Operation Sports recently saying that MLB is the king of sports simulation right now. And I mean, it's hard to go against that. I mean, it's hard to go against. Don't get me wrong. There's other games out there that can be that can dispute that, but it's very hard to argue against it because it's a good game. Bills, what are your thoughts about these first party titles?
No, I agree. The quality is definitely higher. I mean, I think MLB The Show is definitely an indication of that. And I honestly wish we had, competition, not even competition so much, but just the license open so maybe we could see a first-party title in each console, football-wise.
Yeah, we need Fever to come back.
I don't know about that. But I mean, hell, I think Game Day would be far better in this fucking generation than that piece of shit that they used to put out. So I think Game Day would be good to see come back. I mean, even the first-party baseball games, I mean, Xbox hasn't put one out. I don't know what the deal is with that.
I think they should just go ahead and go exclusive and get a 2K baseball game. People talk shit about 2K baseball, but the Xbox community needs a game, and I think 2K should give them one.
Hey, for all the people who hate 2K baseball, you can thank 2K baseball for the 3-man booth commentary that you have now with NBA 2K because
absolutely. That's one thing about 2K baseball that a lot of people don't know. Their commentary, just like with all the other 2K games, their commentary was fantastic. And their commentary was better than MLB The Show until they stopped making a game.
And on top of that, they still have they have the best pitch interface ever.
Oh, that right analog stick pitching mechanic, that needs to come back. You rotate the stick for certain pitches instead of just you using a rock and fire thing they had on.
It's crazy, man.
No, it was beautiful and it flowed together because it made it seem like okay, I have to do this combination to throw this curveball. It made you feel like you had to actually learn how to pitch from a controller. I'm absolutely with you on that. Pooh says no more first party bullshit. I disagree.
Yeah, I highly disagree with that. Take his mod status away for that.
Yeah, I think that. Hey, that's your second time now. They're already clamoring for you to lose your status, Pooh.
Yeah, Pooh, let me tell you something. Your first strike was just deleting that comment. Just being trigger happy. This is your second strike. Come on, man.
Yeah, slow down. But no, I'm serious, man. I mean, I know y'all guys aren't fond of Fever or whatever, but it doesn't have to be Fever. I would love Microsoft to make a game. I would love Sony to make their own game, and I would love EA to have their game. I would love 2K to have you have different companies making these titles, but I honestly believe that if that was the case, I think the Microsoft game or the Sony game would surpass these other companies. And it's tough with 2K because 2K is like they make really good sports titles, but I think if a game that's in-house would be really good because a lot of y'all don't too much care for FIFA 04. You can make a case where FIFA 04.
I didn't have an issue with it, but
I mean, you can make a case where FIFA was up there with 2K at one point. No, I mean not 2K4, 2K5, but
what
FIFA
2K3 he means.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. I'm sorry.
No. He said his elbow got in the way. I'm a Pooh.
Well, I'm
man, take his damn man.
What about to say? Sony needs to make a football game. I think Sony could make a good football game if they use the tech that they have with MLB The Show, and those 989 guys got to go away.
Yes.
989 had good intent. They had good intentions.
Still there through Days Gone.
Yeah, I know, right? And yeah, you see how that goes. All right.
And you know what? Shut up.
You walked into that one, DJ. You walked into that one now. You can't get mad at nobody but yourself.
I thought he was gonna say they're still there with Uncharted. I'm like, oh shit. Well, he's like,
because I want them to be around to put out another Siphon Filter game. So
yeah. No, but I like on a serious note, I think Game Day had good intentions. They just could not execute to save their lives. The player models weren't bad. I like some of the catch animations, but the game itself was just no
trash.
Yeah, it was just no
garbage.
I mean, the interior linemen, they could not block worth a damn. I think they're saying that the best thing about Game Day and Game Breaker was the catch animation. They had really good catch animations, but
man, all 989's fucking sports video games were garbage.
Hey, wait a minute, man. Well, 989. Yeah.
I don't know about all that.
What? Name one.
I had to dig back my memory banks for this one.
Okay, I'll give you this. A couple of the NBA shootouts were okay.
The baseball games weren't bad when they were 989.
A couple of the NBA shootouts were okay.
Yeah, someone. 09
I think
was
99 was good.
No, the NBA. No, was it NBA shootout? Because NBA shootout.
No, you're talking about
NBA shootout.
The Life or whatever.
Yeah, whichever was the 09 version was terrible.
Yeah,
that
Life was garbage. The one with Mari started.
Didn't somebody turn that into like a YouTube series at one point?
Yeah, somebody did. I remember one time me and UC704, shout out to him wherever he is. Me and him were talking about Shootout 09, and it was like he said that he was gonna buy it, and I told him not to, and he hit me back. It's like, man, I should have saved my $5. It was terrible, man. He was like, I told you not to get it, man. It was terrible. First party sports titles always will be something that we will clamor for. I think if competition comes back, I honestly believe that these consoles should make a game probably before 2K, because I think that with Sony's technology, and you see what Sony does with all their other first party games outside of Days Gone, they do a high quality. And Microsoft, they're no slouch either. I mean, they do pretty good with their stuff as well. Yeah. So,
despite what folks are saying about Days Gone, is the fastest selling first party game.
Well, shit, they had fucking 2 years of anticipation, and then
it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter because God of War could have been the fastest selling, but no, not anymore.
Yeah, and Frank Ocean's gonna have the highest selling in the first week. R&B fucking album is gonna be garbage, just because he said he's gonna put it out 5 different times and didn't put it out.
Man, just go out and get Days Gone is a good game. Just
$7. I still got my $7. I still got my $7 right here. Wait,
I'm joking. They put out the patch. I thought about getting it, but once it's $5.
Oh, it was patched.
Yeah, it was patched.
Okay.
Yeah, it's been patched.
Okay, yeah. I might boost that up to $10.
Nah, I'm gonna save my money.
Pooh said, want a Sony football game, really want people to just snatch a PS5. I don't care what people do with their money.
And people ain't snatching a PS5. So,
but my thing is, I truly think if these first party sports titles come out and they do it, and not so much basketball, I know, but I know football. Sony and Microsoft has the pedigree to put out a decent game if they really wanted to. I mean, they were on the cusp, even though people could talk shit about Game Day. But, the thing is, I think if Game Day was...
facts about Game Day.
I think the thing about Game Day, if Game Day was able to be ported over or actually built for the PS3 instead of stopping at the PS2, I think we could have had something. Same thing with FIBA.
Wait a minute, I thought they did have a build for PS3 and put it out, and it didn't work.
I don't know. I haven't heard anything. I know.
Yeah, because they released one before. I thought they released one that looked like that was because PS3 came out when 2004, 2000. Okay, yes, they did. I thought there was one that made it. It was just before. I don't know.
No, because the last one I know was Game Day 05, and that was a PS1 exclusive. They didn't even put it out on the PS2. It was so bad.
That's how garbage
it could have been. I thought it was on PS2.
Yeah, the last one that came out was Game Day. I think it was either Game Day or Game Breaker 05. And it was so bad it was a PS1 exclusive. It didn't even come out on PS2. So I don't know if one came out for the PS3. I don't think it did. And Fever, I would have loved to see Fever for the Xbox 360. I mean, I like the game personally. I thought the game was pretty good. But let's talk about this St. Thomas thing. I'm gonna put this thing up. A lot of people want to know they probably don't care, but a lot of people want to know about this St. Thomas situation, wherever it just went off of my screen. Anyway, there it is. St. Thomas is a D3 school, and they got kicked out of the conference because they were too good, so they're not in their conference anymore. I want to get a better link. I want to get a better article because this article looks wonky. Nope, not Rutgers. Well, I'll just stick with this one. I'll stick with this one. All right, let's share this so people can see it. Sorry for the delay. I just wanted to try to get a better one for everybody. But anyway, it says right here, too good. D3 St. Thomas recent success get them kicked out of the conference. Division III football powerhouse St. Thomas have to leave Minnesota Inter-College Athletic Conference. Minnesota Inter-College Athletic Conference. That's weird. They announced yesterday that St. Thomas will involuntarily leave the conference no later than 2021. Thomas have been a conference-dominant football program in recent years, and it rubbed the fellow conference members the wrong way enough to get them pushed out of the conference. What do you guys think of this? I need to know what their record is because this is actually interesting. Like, what the fuck is this? What do y'all think about this?
Well, listeners, St. Thomas has won 118 games in Coach Glenn Caruso's 11-year tenure, many of them by absurd margins. In 2017, the team shut two different opponents out and scored a combined 181 points in the 2 games. Yo,
hold on. They scored a combined 181 points. That means they averaged about 90 points a game.
Yo, this is all I'm gonna say. I'm convinced that the reason these dudes are in D3 is because they couldn't make the grades for D2, and they're just out here cooking dudes, and they're like D1 talent.
They gotta be.
I'm thinking the same thing. This.
NA said, isn't that the conference Cal Anderson got lots of
Oh my god.
Yo, I'm gonna click this link and see what the other conference members had to say. This is interesting.
Thank the stars. It was tired of getting our asses whipped.
Yo, look at this. I'm gonna highlight this. Where the schools that are behind the movement is unclear, but according to several sources, it's primarily a football issue. Last year, St. Thomas, they beat Augustin, Carleton, Hamline, and St. Olaf by a combined score of 263 to 14.
Yo, look, hey, we say lost 2 games. It says.
Who wants to know why I got torn up?
Yeah,
here?
I'm about to say.
No, seriously, I have torn up here because of some of my PS3 games could not be combined, and I used some of my PS3 games that I legally own. I got them through a torrent site, so I couldn't get them on my PS3. My PS3.
I know pirating when I see pirating. All right.
Yeah, I know he knows it, right? But no, seriously, I have torrent because of some of the games I cannot put on my PS3 or my PS2 or even my original Xbox. All 3 of them are jailbroken.
Look,
I can't get on there by burning them to the console. I just use torrent. I download them through there. No, I have too many games to be pirating games. I'm not going to do that. But here's another one. They're mostly struggles for the Tommies frequent league titles throughout the fall, spring sports calendar until Coach Glenn Caruso arrived in 2008 as the football coach and quickly built the powerhouse. The Tommies posted lopsided victories over the MIAC second division teams in a 3-week period in 2017. they defeated Hamline 84-0 and St. Olaf 97-0.
Let me tell you what this shit's gonna start getting ugly though. It says conferences like the MIAC simply can't kick a school out for being too good. There are rules against that sort of thing. So MIAC schools will have to find another reason to get rid of them. That's what shit's really gonna start getting ugly.
Yeah. If Pooh said it should jump up to Division 2, I agree. If you're beating teams this bad, I think you should try to make more money by moving up to Division 2.
Man.
But this is ridiculous. But what I want to talk about prior to this, what are you guys thinking about? You think if this could set a precedent for other schools or other conferences to do something like this? I mean, what do you guys think about this? Do you think it's fair, or should the other teams just step their fucking game up and stop getting their asses whooped? Or do you think they should just move to D2?
That has me question the other teams' recruiting practices.
Definitely.
Like, you mean to tell me you can't find players that possibly could be playing in a higher division to come to your school? Like, what's going on in your school that you can't get the bench warmers from high school to come to your school and play some decent football to where they're not getting shut out?
Females probably ugly.
I would have to question that. Question the other teams. I would be worried about expelling the other teams. Like, you guys suck. You guys need to get out. You know, that it kind of backs up that whole theme of participation trophies and stuff.
That's
like
definitely
that.
what it is.
Yeah,
you know, getting tired of winning too
comfortable?
much. Let's get rid of the winners out of the division.
But
so
how
we
could
can
you
win
feel
too.
comfortable winning the next year knowing you didn't beat that souped up ass school that just beat you 102 to zip?
But let's be honest, are they really souped up, or the teams are just that bad?
I think the teams are just
I think it's a
that
combination.
bad.
I think it might be a combination of the two.
Yeah, because I'm starting to think. I'm not sure if a D3 school could get that kind of talent to just run roughshod. I think it might be a little bit of both. I think they may get one or two good players, maybe three, and those three players are like superstars compared to everybody else on both sides of the teams. Like, they might get like this badass 4-star running back that didn't want to go nowhere else. He wanted to stay home. So that 4-star running back that could have went to Ohio State probably end up going there and he's probably rushed for like 3,000 yards or some shit.
Yeah, but that's the running back. What about the lineman that had the block for him? I'm like, did you get the same type of talent there too?
Yeah, that's true.
Like, this is just so many different, because it's 11 positions out there on the football field on each side. And you mean to tell me that these other teams can't recruit at least one person?
That one person's probably out there getting their ass whooped right with the
competitive.
team.
Oh, and listen to this. The last paragraph of this. St. Thomas didn't win more than 7 games in a season in the 10 years before Caruso became the team's coach. After the team was 7-3 his first season, St. Thomas has gone 103-14 in the years since and made the D3 national championship games in 2012 and 2015. So wait a minute, they didn't even win national championships.
That's what I'm saying.
So they only won 2 times in the last what? They only won 2 times.
So
apparently it's official. They did get kicked out.
Yeah, they got kicked out. They did.
Well, yeah, because it said involuntarily as of 2021 they're going to be out.
Yeah, they said so. They're gonna run roughshod on it for the next 2 years.
You know what's crazy is they founded this. Conference. It says 99 years after helping found the Minnesota Intercollegiate Athletic Conference, St. Thomas has been kicked out. That's crazy.
That's crazy. I put this shit together. Yeah, now get your ass out. No, but I mean, seriously, I think if they get kicked out, they've gotten kicked out. They should just go ahead and move up to Division 2. But like I said, what about other conferences? NA just said Alabama to go independent. I mean, but you got to think about it. Like, what about other conferences? I'm pretty sure there are other D3 conferences. There are other D2 conferences that are out there that may have this issue. There are some high school conferences that may have this issue. If this, like, with this happening, how likely would it be to see other, conferences, not even in college, like high school or little league or hell, maybe even in Division 1?
Yo, let me tell you something. This shit might be an issue across all sports, because I'm reading this right now. It says St. Thomas has won 15 national titles since the MIAC became affiliated with NCAA Division III in 1973, more than any other conference school. In the past 10 years, St. Thomas has been MIAC's champion or co-champion in the 8 biggest sports 57 times.
Oh, so this is not just a football.
This isn't just a football team.
Oh God!
Tell you, it's their recruiting. They're doing something.
They're doing something. They're
outside of regular recruiting.
Yeah, they're doing big things at that school. This is not just a football issue.
Well, one thing I read is that it says with an undergraduate enrollment of 6,300, St. Thomas has grown to twice the size of the MIAC's next largest undergraduate populations, 2,900 each at St. Olof and Bethel.
So they just have a bigger school as well.
Schools began debating the idea of changing the MIAC's enrollment limit, something that would require 9 of the conference's 13 schools to endorse. So, and there was also no vote, by the way.
Yeah, it's too late now. They're already out of it. So, I mean, they already been expelled. So it sucks. So, I mean, this is I want to keep an eye on this school. I'm gonna watch them throughout the next few years. I want to see what happens to them because this is actually interesting. Just to see what happens with them being, this good in this conference, and just see what happens. Let's say if they do go to another conference, and let's see what they do not only in football but with their other schools as well. I'm gonna keep an eye on them, and maybe 3 months, 6 months, maybe to a year from now, we'll see what they're doing. This actually kind of got me interested in the school per se, but I want to see what happens like. Do other conferences and school follow if they feel like, oh, you won 3 national titles in a row, we're going to St. Thomas your black ass.
We're going to St. Thomas your black.
Right, you know what I'm saying? So, I don't have any. Oh, go ahead, DJ.
Yeah, I wonder, would it have been better if those teams were getting beat 40-0 and not 80-0? Like 2 games worth of scores being done by one team in one game.
Holy shit!
I want to see the highlights of that 84-0 game and that 97-0 game. I need to look up and see if they have highlights for those.
Yo, I looked up. Holy shit!
Send me the link so I can put it up. What are you talking about?
I looked up some stats from this past season.
Oh Lord. Pass the picture so everybody can see him.
Tell me somebody passed for 100 touchdowns.
Hold on, I'm gonna send you the link.
Yeah, send me the link so I can put it up so people can see it, and I'll let you talk about it.
This is not a couple of these games. Got ugly. Let me send it.
I really need to see if somebody can send the link to if these games that cut these people out, the 84-0 game. Or the 97. I want to see
the 97-0 game. Yeah, that would have been the one.
Yeah, I just want to see the tackling. I want to see the tackling.
I want to see the tackling.
Yeah, I want to see the tackling of the other team. I mean that would be beautiful to watch. I just want to see. All right, here come the stats. Tommy Sports. Hold on. Or recent games.
Bro, they average 266 yards rushing per game.
Oh Lord, let me put this.
Oh God, let me put this. They just ran all. They literally ran all over.
They allowed 10 points per game.
Let me put this up so you can see it. All right, here it is, so you guys can see it. If it's
schedule and results, here we go.
Okay, Augsburg
76-7.
Augsburg. The game was 73.
Oh, those are October games. It starts in September.
I only got the recent games. Hold on, I need to pull up the.
Oh, I got all of them.
Where'd you find?
Okay, I got them. I pulled it up.
They got video of this.
Oh. Yo, I need to see this at another time.
Yeah, I got. Okay, let me look at the box score of this first game.
Look at this. Trinity International 76-7.
He scored 34 points in the first quarter.
Oh my!
They ran for 386 in that first game. Yo, Hamline 62-0. They ran for 314.
Bro,
they actually have a PDF of the. I don't know what.
Eau Claire.
Okay.
They played Eau Claire 49-0. They only ran for 222 that time, but they passed for 315.
Wait a minute. 8 punt returns for 230 yards? St. Thomas could agree. It did 2 kickoff returns for 108.
Jesus Christ. Concordia Moorhead, they didn't do too well on that one, but they won 46-7, but they only threw for 224 and ran for 166. Well, they had 1 interception and 2 fumbles. They played Augsburg 73-14. They ran for 344. Yo, they kind of got a balanced attack here because some games they throw for over 300 yards. Yo, they actually lost the game to St. John's, 40-20. What does St. John's do to beat them?
St. John's borrowed some players from Alabama. That's what they did.
Yo, that's the game I want to see. What the hell did y'all do to beat them?
Well, force them to pass probably. Because they're not a very good passing team.
No, because they threw for 55 times. But Bills, they ran for 271 in that game still.
Bro, but that's what I'm saying.
St. John's was also a good team too. They were 6-0 when this happened.
Okay. Carleton.
But I don't think St. John's is in this league though.
Carleton.
They made because this was an away game, and it's not like let's see. Hold up. Let me see if they have the conferences. Damn, I want to see what the standings are because
Carleton won 68-0. They ran for 445 against Carleton.
Bro, their running back ran for 1,200 yards on 151 rushes.
What?
This nigga averaged 8.4 yards per carry.
Jesus Christ.
Yo! 17 touchdowns.
Madden on arcade mode.
Yeah, I'm looking at Josh Parks. Josh Parks, 151 yards rushing. 151 attempts, 1266.
Oh, by the way, folks, that's 10 games.
Yeah, that's it through 10 games.
Yo, that's just crazy, man. He's almost averaging a first down per rush.
Right.
That's his average.
That is crazy. Yo, let me look at these.
Oh, wait a minute. St. John's is in their conference.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
And they're playing.
Okay, they played St. Olaf 60-0. They ran for 303 in that game. The last 2 games were like, I don't know what happened here, but I think they must have put like the 3rd string in or something.
Bro, I'm telling you, their team be having a lot of dudes ineligible.
Yo, that last 2 games they won 14-13, and they only ran for 164 and passed for 150. There had to be backups in that game. And they lost to Bethel, and they only ran for 49 yards that game. Yo, that game they played against Bethel, that running back was not in the game. There's no way. There's no way Josh Parks was in that game when they only ran for 49 yards.
And they barely beat, Gustavus Adolphus?
Yeah.
14-13 the week before.
Yeah, those last 2 games, the backups was in the game, clearly.
Bro, their leading tackler had 58 tackles. What that tells me is the other team barely had the ball.
Well, you look at the time of possession. It's over here.
God.
Yeah, they had to sit down all the starters and they had to sit down all the starters in the last 2 games.
But that's what I'm saying. Just imagine if their running back played like the whole time in all those games.
Yo, that dude could have he probably would have had over 1,700 yards.
Bro.
Maybe more.
1,700?
If he played, well, you did say if he played all throughout the entire game. That's
what I'm saying. So he'd probably have close to 2,000 in 10 games.
So look how much yards they allowed per game. 31 yards allowed per game.
Bro.
31 yards rushing the game.
Now, I will say this. I played D3 ball for a little bit before I went to my music school. D3 ball is a joke.
Well,
which is why I think somebody is that played D3 ball. He's a shutdown. Never mind. Let's keep going. Let's go on. Let's keep going. What you saying now? I was saying I played D3. I killed, but it was boring because, like I said, there's not a lot of talent there.
No,
D3 does not have a lot of talent, so they must be the one team that just has a bunch of dudes who can't make grades.
I need to know who this coach is. This coach must be doing a hell of a job recruiting.
No, this motherfucker Motherfucker took the dudes off the street who could play football but can't go to class.
I need to find out how the hell he got Josh Parks. Because that dude look like that dude sounded like he's a pretty good running back.
I mean, shit, look at the stats.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
But not, I mean, yeah, D3, I played D3 for like a couple months. I
want to know if this guy ever actually, tried to go to the pros or whatever. This Josh Parks guy. I'm actually interested in him. I'm gonna look him up.
Like, I feel like this team would get absolutely eaten alive in even D2.
Yeah, I think they will. But I mean, the fact that they're dominating people like this, they need to go ahead and
yeah, for people on their level, I mean, holy shit, it's like, it's like fucking Lombardi Packers.
Okay, they got some highlights of him.
Oh boy.
I would show him here, but I know it's gonna glitch out because there's all this streaming and stuff. You guys can find him on YouTube. Yeah, I mean it'll look bad.
When your lead tackler only has 57 tackles,
they don't have a wiki.
That means the other team is barely touching the ball. They're getting it and turning it over.
That's crazy. I'm gonna look up more about this guy later because I wonder if I'm just curious about it. I want to know where he is. Just curious. Anyway, I don't have anything else. What y'all got for anything else y'all want to add to the podcast? I think this has been another good episode as usual.
Nah.
Yeah, not really.
I'm gonna keep up with this St. Thomas story. I really want to see what happens to the team if they go D2 or if they just fall off and all of a sudden they suck like everybody else. Or it just I'm a little interested in that. Side note, real quick, loot box bill is being
introduced.
Yeah, no, it's not only has been introduced, it's actually catching attention to both sides of the aisle. A lot of guys that are in Congress are actually in agreement of the loot box bill being possibly passed. So a lot of guys in Congress are looking into that. So that's going to be interesting to look into as well. Also, we all know the situation with Robert Kraft. They're saying that the information that they got, the evidence on him was not obtained legally. So he may be getting off, like regardless, even if he was convicted, he'll be getting off anyway. Like I said before, these guys who get in trouble with this stuff only get a slap on the wrist. So regardless,
that man just wanted a warm mouth. Leave him alone.
Yeah, that was saying, camera, no camera. Even if he was convicted, he would have probably paid the fine and walked away anyway. I mean, people were like up in arms, like he should have got the death penalty. No,
right.
I mean, these type of crimes are vice crimes. Look it up, vice, VICE, vice crimes. They don't garner much attention as far as to their record. They're not nothing's gonna happen to them. The regular Joe gets a slap on the wrist. A privileged, I ain't gonna say privileged, I hate to say that, but a privileged old white rich man is not gonna get anything different than a Joe Schmo on the street.
Look. Bob just wanted a happy ending, fam. Leave him alone.
Exactly. And they asked about, do we know about the Pacific Pro League by Tom Brady's agent? I heard about it. There's not much information on it, so I haven't talked about it yet. Once more information comes up, we will talk about it. But initially, off the top of my head, I see AAF written all over it. That personally, I do. I mean,
Tom Brady ain't gonna put no fucking money behind it.
No, I mean, if the AAF didn't succeed, I don't have any faith in any of this stuff. That's why I'm kind of skeptical about the XFL. I mean, the AAF should have succeeded. It was a great product.
One last thing, for any folks that are listening right now that watch wrestling still, and you hate WWE, make sure you check out the new promotion that has major money behind them this Saturday. Because they have their first pay-per-view, AEW
$49.99.
I need you
guys. It's $59.99.
I thought it was $49.99.
No, it's $59. I saw it on Fight TV.
I need you guys. We're going to talk about this offline. I need you guys this weekend to help me out to get back in tune with this wrestling shit because I want to. No, I'm dead serious. I want to, but I can't do it myself because I just can't get interested on my own. Right. So, because not only I want to be interested in it, I do want to add it to the podcast because even though a lot of people say wrestling is dying, this, that, and third, no, wrestling is still is popular as people may not think it is. It really
folks.
is.
So anybody in the chat, actually put in the chat if y'all still watch wrestling or not, so we get a gauge of
Yeah, who
watches wrestling?
Who wants to hear about it? Because I'm interested in adding it to the podcast because I really want to get back into it. I just can't. I need some help into it. I'm not afraid to say I want to get into it, but I can't do it alone. But these two guys here, they're really good at following it. They know about it way more than I do. Because after 2003, I don't know nothing about it. Honestly, I don't.
Well,
hell, my wife even knows about. She's more up to date with wrestling than I am.
You picked a good year to stop watching. I'll tell you that much. 03.
Yeah, like once 03 came, I was done, man. And it's not that I didn't like it or nothing. I just was doing other things. And like I said, my wife was telling me about this cat named Randy Orton. I was like, who the hell is that? He's a wrestler. And I was like, what? Because she knows about it more than I do. I mean, honestly, she does. It's kind of sad, but
if somebody asked you who Billy Bob Orton was, what would you say?
The only Billy Bob I knew was the one that was with DX, and that was his name, right? Billy Bob, the Mr.
Billy Gunn.
Yeah,
Billy Gunn.
Exactly. That's how much I know. That's how much I know. But yeah, help me out, guys. I really like this weekend. I'm not working, so I need to get on PSN with you guys. That's another thing I need to do. I need to be more, but KB3, he demands my time at times.
Ain't nothing wrong with that.
First and Framerates 68 is coming to a close, man. Another great podcast with my dudes, man. Another great podcast. Touched on a lot of topics, a little more diverse. Trying to keep it that way, not just linear with one game and one topic. No shots at other podcasts, but we try to be diverse. We try to keep everything rolling and everything fluid, so anybody and everybody can come in and take something away from the podcast. You can catch us on Twitter. I'm VF Baller. You can catch Bill's Force, DJ81. All the links down in the description for how you can catch us outside of live streaming, iTunes and SoundCloud. I don't know if I told you guys, we got our first rating in our iTunes of what people think of the podcast. I think it's a couple people actually gave us a rating, and all of them were 5 stars. So.
Okay.
Great. 5 stars on iTunes. SoundCloud, we get a couple of likes on SoundCloud.
The 5-star First and Framerates podcast.
There you go. Exactly.
We might have to turn it into that after a while.
I know. Keep it up. So, seriously though, you guys go to those platforms and rate those podcasts and share them. It does help us get more recognition. So when people do search for regular podcasts, we'll be up there with the other ones. I noticed that there's a lot of podcasts that are out there. They're trying to do their own little spin on certain things that are like way in the weeds of certain topics. And it's hard to keep up with them. But us, we try to keep the main topics forefront. We try to do our own thing with them. And we do appreciate everybody who do come around that do listen, live or non-live. We do appreciate it. Bills, you got anything before we go?
Just a little bit of wisdom, something that I posted the other day on Facebook. Anybody who has a dream they're pursuing, take it from me. You got to fall in love with the process before you can appreciate the end result. It's all about falling in love with the process to get there. So just keep that in mind. Anybody who's striving for something, chasing their dream, remember that.
Yeah, absolutely. Whatever you're trying to do, man, stick with it and have a plan with it. And like you said, you got to be passionate about it. But if it's your dream, I'm pretty sure you have a passion about it already because it's your dream. Mm-hmm. So absolutely. Like this podcast right here. This podcast right here, like before YouTube even came up, I mean, I'll share this before I let DJ go. Before this podcast came about, before even the Virtual Footballer channel, I was a big fan of talk radio and the Tony Bruno show that was on Madden, and I was like, man, I want to do something where I can talk about sports. It wasn't necessarily about the game and stuff, just talk about sports. But it was, back then this was what, 2003. YouTube wasn't around back then, but it's something I always wanted to do. And with the Tony Bruno show, when Madden came out with that, I was like, yo, that's pretty dope. I really want to do that. And it kind of forefronted me to actually do things with it. But this podcast thing was something that I really wanted to do. This is not just something that happened back in 2015 and 2016. I've been wanting to do something like this for almost 15 years now. It's been a long time, and the 9 people that's in here listening, I mean, I hope and pray, and I want to push for us to be 900 watching. I want us to be 9,000 watching with another 20,000 downloading us on the Podcast Addict or iTunes or SoundCloud. People actually, want to, pay for a product like when we pass out or when we put out merchandise for you guys. This is my passion. This is my dream. And like I said, I don't care if, 8 or 9 people in here right now. Long as those 8 or 9 people are actually listening and actually enjoy what we're talking about, that makes me want to go and bring more ideas to the forefront for the next episode. Mm-hmm. So I really do appreciate you guys, and we're going to keep going. Just thanks for the support. Anything you want to add, DJ, before we go?
I just hope my ribs heal fast enough so I can play in these playoffs. Because I'm a playoff player. I live for those type of moments. And
so you're the opposite of James Harden, safe to say?
Pretty much. Like, my last name is Jordan, so
here we go.
It's something I have to live up to. It's something I've been living up to my whole entire life. It was like everybody, when I was growing up in where I'm at now, they knew that I would be the one to trust in the final seconds of the game, whether it's basketball, whether it's football. Like, got a state title for, a clutch play. Other than that, it's just, I think at the end of the day, I want to turn it into coaching, but just like VF, I also want to be a part of a podcast that talks about sports and many other subjects. I know I talked about that with my girlfriend, and I talked about it with others as far as always wanting to talk about sports. So it's one thing that I know I've been able to express myself, like, versus any other field I've worked in or whatever. Sports has been the only field that I've been able to truly express myself 100%. So I'm right there where VF is. I want to make sure this thing grows and grows into a giant.
Yeah. You know what? And with that being said, since you just said what you said about sports, and Bill's already wanted to talk about it, next week our topic need to be our first, experience with sports, because now it's like I'm not even going to put it on the poll for next week. We're just going to talk about it because I think it's something that'll be interesting to all three of us. We can actually be, candid and be honest about how we, take sports and how serious we take not only sports in general, but to a degree this podcast. I mean, this podcast is small right now, but I mean, even with, all of our interworkings and what we do in our personal lives, we do have a passion, even if it's not just this podcast. We do have a passion for sports, and we love to talk about sports. So, and before I go, one more thing. Spectacular Pooh, he's one of our mods that's in the chat. He has
not for long.
Yeah, he keeps it up. But he has a dream himself. I always see him posting it on Twitter about him streaming and doing this, that, and third. And he's been getting a lot of support from other people outside of us. You guys need to go check him out and see what he does on his streams, because I've watched him even when he didn't have too many people watching his stuff. I see him slowly growing, and that's something that he's passionate about. And
go ahead.
But
the funny thing is that the term that he's using to like get this momentum going has been through like lurking. Right. So I find it funny that lurking is actually helping him and helping others. So I'm like, you normally make fun of that and roast him on the fact that he's just stalking channels and getting other people to stalk other channels, but it is working. So can't hate on that.
Stalking and power. that should be his motto. It should be in his bio and his Twitter. Stalking and power.
Fuck it, Pooh. You have no shame, and I'm not gonna have any shame when Limbo comes out. I'm gonna be putting that shit in every Bleacher Report mention section. I'm gonna be putting that shit everywhere. So trust me.
We did kind of work it into the last podcast. We
did.
Had our moments. So
yeah, so definitely. You guys catch us, like I said, iTunes, SoundCloud. Share the podcast. Let everybody know what we're trying to do over here. Let everybody know we're the best the greatest, smallest podcast out there, and we're going to try to continue to grow to be the best, biggest podcast. So
right,
I know somebody's phone's ringing. Let them catch
really? We tried to finish clean every week, and something that's got all.
Yeah, somebody's whole ass is calling my house, of course.
It's all good. But catch y'all guys next Thursday, 7:30. Like I said, at least one of the topics we're going to talk about our first experience and our first introduction to sports and how it molded us to who we are today, and all the other topics that happens throughout the week. So, hold on. He's attending Full Sail University for Game Designer. August Chris. That's awesome, man. That's awesome. I know we're about to close out, but keep pushing for that, man. Maybe you'll be able to make a pretty good game for us. You know, regardless of what it is.
Yeah. So make sure everybody tunes in next week. Everybody's lucky number, episode 69 next week.
Yeah, exactly. 7:30 p.m. We'll be live Thursday. You guys take it easy. Peace.
Peace.